Hello everybody, this is a DeepCosmicSpaceWizard, and today I've done a collective tarot card reading, and as always, if this message does not resonate with you, this message is not for you. This is a collective reading, so this message is not for everybody, so keep that in mind with the message that I am going to give, as I don't want everybody just taking this as full-on 100% truth. For some people it might be, for some it might not be, so just keep that in mind. And also, try to find another video that resonates with you if you find that this one does not resonate with you. So, with that being said, let's start with the reading. Okay, so for the first card, I pulled the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. So this means plans not going through how we wanted them to. We've been trying to make money in some form of way, and for whatever reason, it just didn't fall through. Next card is the Hanged Man. So I'm seeing that because of this setback, because things didn't fully fall through in the way that you wanted them to, you might feel a little stuck. You might feel like you don't know how to get out of where you're at. Now the Hanged Man asks us to form new perspectives, look at things in a different way. For example, let's say you started a project and you worked on it for 6 months or something, a year, and you send it out and you finish it, and let's say you don't make any money off of it or something, or you only make very little amounts of money. This could be very disheartening because of what we expected it to do. And it doesn't even have to be money. Maybe we expected more people to like it, or more people to see it, experience it, but for whatever reason it just didn't meet up to our levels of success that we wanted. So this might make us feel stuck. But the Hanged Man's asking us to look at it in a different way. Like, okay, things didn't work out, but what did I learn from this experience? How can I use this experience as something to help me forward? It might suck to start over, to start from scratch, but it's not like you're starting for the first time. You're starting with wisdom. Let's say you're working at a job and you're not making the money you want right now. Well, you could focus on the job sucking. You could feel like a slave. You can feel like you're wasting your time. You could feel like you hate it, like you don't want to be there. Or you could look at it as just temporary, something that's giving you the finances that you need, so that way you can do what you want to do, focus on what you want to do. This scenario can go in a lot of different ways, but the point is, the Hanged Man is asking us to try to look at things in a positive way, in whatever way we can, with where we're at. We might not have $1 million. We might not be at that place where we see other people at, and other people, they might be there, but yet they feel stuck, and if you feel stuck, the point is, with whatever situation you're in, we gotta work with where we're at. So if you're at the spot where you need a job in order to live, then that's what you have to work with. You can't just wake up one day and just to say, hey, I'm independent. You know, hey, like, that project that I worked on for a year, it's just all of a sudden just gonna do good now. No, maybe you gotta advertise your product in a different way. Maybe you gotta promote yourself in a different way. Maybe you gotta keep on putting in more effort to promoting yourself, you know? There's lots of different ways to look at things. So just keep this in mind. Try to find the positive, even if it's just a little positive. Just keep yourself going in that positive momentum. Milk any kind of positivity that you can find. Any kind of perspective that gets you out of feeling stuck and feeling like you're moving forward towards what you want. Okay, so I'm seeing the Two of Cups in reverse. So this is about, you know, business partners falling through, relationships not going as expected, you know, divorces, breakups, you know, friendships, losing friendships, stuff like this. You know, and with the Ten of Cups in reverse, this is upright. This is supposed to be like the ultimate emotional fulfillment. This is, I'm seeing what you wanted, you know, but instead it's like this happened and you didn't get this. So, you know, learning to work with disappointments is really crucial in life, because in life there's usually always going to be some kind of disappointment. Somebody's not going to meet up to our expectations. Things aren't going to go the way we wanted them to. We're not going to be where we thought we were going to be. You know, there's so many things that we can create, you know, in our head, and it's like, you know, it causes this pain inside of us because we don't get what we wanted, and it could hurt, and it could suck. But once again, the Hangman is here, and the Hangman's saying, hey, you know, I understand. We're stuck upside down on a tree. We can't do anything about it, except look at that sun up there, you know, look at those birds. I've never seen it from this point of view before. Oh yeah, like, I'm not in that relationship anymore, but now I see myself in a different way. Now I'm able to explore myself in a way that I haven't been able to. And yeah, I didn't get that ultimate fulfillment that I thought I was gonna get. But now I'm appreciating the things, like just breathing. You know, now I'm forced to find joy in the little things. You know? It's strange, you know, how our ideals and what our expectations are and what our mind creates our the way we feel, you know. Imagine if you treated every moment like, I mean, just imagine if you just didn't have any ideas to what life was supposed to be like, what you wanted it to be like. If we had no personal wants about life, everything would just be perfect as it is. I mean, that's kind of a stretch to say, you know. I mean, to say that, you know, for example, the Holocaust being a, you know, somebody who's trapped in a concentration camp, to just see that in a positive light see that as perfect. That's pretty hard to do. So, you know, I'm not saying that there aren't situations that suck. Yeah, there's situations that suck, but a lot of the times it's our mind, you know? Our mind makes things worse, is really what I'm trying to say. And if we can control our mind and just accept and surrender to how things are, that's when we can start unlocking this new energy to get us out of these places that we're in. And it, you know, doesn't happen overnight. I say this in a lot of my videos. It doesn't happen overnight. Most of the time it does not happen overnight. We need to understand this. I think a lot of times, I think we all know this, but it's like, I think we need to be reminded that things take time, you know? And you know, it's okay to feel like things suck. It's okay to be sad and upset and disappointed. But there's a point where you gotta move on. There's a point where you gotta, you don't have to, but there's a point where if you don't change the way you see things, you're gonna feel crappy. And do you want to feel crappy or do you want to feel good? And that's what it really comes down to, you know? Okay, so for the last card, guys, Two of Pentacles. To me, this is a synergetical energy with the Hangman. Two of Pentacles is all about adapting, juggling, finding balance. You know, and I think for your situation, I think adapting is really crucial for this message. Because, like the Hangman says, you know, find a new way to look at things. The Hangman's more about how you see things, though, whereas the Two of Pentacles, this is more about how you do things. You know, like how you move through life, kind of. You know, you gotta find ways to adapt. Like, you know, if your project didn't kick off the way you wanted it to, if that relationship didn't go the way you wanted it to, you gotta learn to adapt. Life is always changing, you know. And we gotta accept the changes, and it's not always easy. It's not always easy. And, you know, like I said, you know, grieve for as long as you have to. You know, and sometimes you're sad for a while, and then you're happy for a couple of days, and then the sadness comes back. And sometimes it's a roller coaster ride, and you're up and down, you're up and down, you're up and down. And finally, you know, one day, it goes away. You know, I think sometimes we gotta find the trigger. There's a trigger point. There's something that triggers us. That clicks inside of us. Something. Sometimes, usually it's external, I feel like, but it's. I don't want to say it's usually external, because it can be both internal or external. But sometimes something just makes us click inside, and it changes us. You know, and I think you know. It's hard to say to go find that, because it kind of just happens. But if you could find something that can trigger you, that can make that click go off inside of you and change you, I think that's something that is needed in times like these. There was a story about Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan. And this was something that triggered me in my life recently. And it kind of gave me this motivation. And the story goes, Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan were filming this, they were making a movie together or whatever. They were both actors in a movie. And, you know, they're both martial artists. And I think they would go running together, and they would run 3 miles. And then one day, Bruce Lee said, let's run 5 miles. Jackie Chan was just like, oh, that's, that's crazy. Like, you're gonna run 5 miles. And I thought this example was kind of weird because 5 miles really isn't that far for somebody who exercises a lot, I feel like. But anyways, Jackie Chan was just like, 5 miles, like that's a lot. Like, okay, let's do it. And so they're running, 3 miles goes by. They just keep on running. Jackie Chan at this point feels like he can't. He says, I can't do it. It feels like my heart's gonna pop out of my chest. And then Bruce Lee said something to him like, then you should just die, or something like that. And this made Jackie Chan really upset. And he didn't know why Bruce Lee said this. And then later on, Bruce Lee came to talk to him and was just like, he said something like, every man should always try to push themselves beyond their limits. And he's like, if you're not doing that, then you should just kill yourself. You should just go die, because you're not living. If you're just staying stuck in the same spot over and over again. And then Jackie Chan apparently goes on to find, like, that he really appreciated that Bruce Lee told him this, because it pushed him as a person to push himself beyond his limits, beyond his barriers, his I don't know what to call it for some reason, but you know what I mean. He learned to push himself even more, beyond his obstacles. And this triggered me, that was the story that triggered me. And I was just like, okay. Like, it wasn't even necessarily that I had to push myself in a physical sense. It was more like an emotional sense. Like, because he was saying, like, he's like, once you become stagnant in one area and you become complacent and you stop growing, it's like you become weak in one area in your life and then you start losing in other areas of your life. You start losing the battle in your mind. You start losing the battle at work. You start losing the battle with your family. You know what I mean? And it doesn't always have to be that drastic. And I don't think life always has to be something where we always have to grow. I think that's kind of like just one perspective of life. But I think it applies at a certain point for sometimes, But yeah, I don't think life always has to be like, wake up every day, grind, and always gonna push myself. I'm always gonna be, Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it always has to be like that. I think you could find peace and love with where you're at too. I think that's good. So there's lots of perspectives in life. This is what the Hangman is telling us. Watch how what you think makes you feel. If it makes you feel bad, if it makes you feel stressed, anything negative, it's usually not good to think that thing. If something makes you feel empowered, peaceful, loving, motivated, passionate, these things are good to think. So pay attention, to how you think and how it makes you feel, and try to reach for the things that are positive for you, and life will change for you in a good way. Just hang in there like the Hangman. And watch how things change for you when you just choose peace and love, and choose your own perspective. Find your own perspective that works for you. Be your own self. Live your own life in the way you want to live it. Don't compare yourself Make your own way, make your own path. That's all for today, guys. I'm wishing all of you magical souls peace, love, bliss, success, prosperity, joy, abundance, and namaste.